Hello, everybody, and welcome to the afternoon tune. I'm your host, Josh, there, and with me, I got my special guest there, Sage from Rated M for Immaturity. How's it going there, Sage?
Hey, doing good, man. How about yourself?
Pretty good, man. You didn't drop anything important. Was it remote? Was the phone?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
It was just my fun.
Gotcha. Yeah, good for you to join me. I've been out for a few weeks there. So glad to be doing the show with you again. We got a nice lineup here. It's going to be not too long of a show. Just discuss one show there, one review, and then we got some news to discuss, and that be it, and be heading out of here. Then after you, I got do the retro review with Conan Neutron there from Movie Night Extravaganza. He's been on before. He last time was on, did Fight Club. But he's a musician, critic, just all around there, jack of many trades there. And he's going to be helping me do it. The reason why we're doing a retro review of Spinal Tap is because there's a sequel coming out there of the film that's releasing, I think, it's releasing this week. So it's releasing this week. So they're doing that. So a sequel 41 years later, because I think
that's got to be one of the biggest gaps in any of these so far.
So a 41-year later sequel to a film there. But yeah, so do a retro review of that. Future reviews. Friday, I got a lot of stuff there on the docket. Conjuring Last Rites, Lurker, Splitsville, The Long Walk, which is the Stephen King adaptation there based on his short stories, because he wrote like 6,800 short stories. So everyone's gonna get adapted.
I heard they did a screening where they actually had people walking on treadmills at that speed for the duration of the movie, and everybody was fine.
Yeah. It was only 3 miles. You know what I mean? You think you could probably do that, right? 3 miles.
Yeah, that seems super easy. Like I don't know. That's why I'm wondering. I haven't read that short story, but I'm wondering like where the horror really is coming from there, because that just doesn't seem like a lot.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's like in The Long Walk, you got to keep walking. Like you can't stop. Like even if it's night or day, like you got to keep walking. Just keep going.
But at that speed, I feel like it wouldn't be a big. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Well, we'll do a test. We'll do a Mr. Beast experiment. Like that's his new experiment. He's gonna make people walk from all the way from Florida to DC, there, and he's gonna do Long Walk there. So there's that. But yeah, there's that. They're doing that experiment. They retrofitted a theater so people can walk on treadmills there as they watch the movie, which is pretty good. I don't know. Maybe they should do that with a lot of movies there. Sometimes I need to stretch my legs, especially for 3-hour plus movies.
Yeah,
that'd be good to just get on the treadmill real quick. Yeah,
maybe you don't have to make going to the gym like a separate thing.
Yeah, maybe that's a bright idea. You watch a movie and you walk on the treadmill. Yeah. It's like a spin class, but you watch a movie with it too. Maybe I should. Maybe that's an idea. Maybe I got to invest in that. But yeah, so doing that Saturday, I'll see if Chris from the Black Stubs podcast wanted to join me there and doing a retro review from Malcolm X. Reason we're doing that is because Spike Lee, Denzel Washington collaborations. There was a recent one that came out, Highest to Lowest, had a short theatrical run, and they just released it on Apple TV September 5th. So do that. Sunday, I don't have anything planned. And Monday, hopefully Sage will join me again. Try to do something there, discuss that. So yeah. And then after this stream, as always, we'll go ahead and rate somebody. Geek Dom is on right now. He's always on. I always can count on Geek Dom to be on. He's playing their Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers again. I don't know how far he is into the game. I don't know. It's
got to be decently at this point.
Yeah, but he's been playing. I mean, it seems like he's beat the game because he's got all these custom outfits. So maybe he's going for 100%.
Maybe, but you also have just so many items in a. I mean, it's a Souls-like, right? So there's so many pieces of loot, armor, things that you could get in any of those. That really might not be a sign of being close to the end at all.
Okay, he's on the Goon edition.
It looks like it.
Bikini there. Okay. But yeah, with that there, got Dead End Hip Hop is on. Lucky Dog is on. Lucky Dog podcast playing that Fortnite as he does But yeah, got some good people on that we could raid after this. That'd be pretty awesome. But Sage, let people know about what you got going on, what you got coming up next, all that good stuff.
Yeah, well, you can find me over at Rated M for Immaturity over on Twitch, YouTube. Eventually, at least when we get things going again. I don't even think there is a stream on Twitch at the moment. but
Well,
yeah, we just a bunch of just idiots playing games, making dumb jokes. It's really very loose in the format. And by the end of October here, I should be able to give you a page to go to for this first book that we're publishing here. That's going to be very, very soon. But yeah, on YouTube you can go and you can see the backlog of all the old stuff we've done. Hopefully soon we'll be back up and running. Still waiting to hear on my system, but hopefully soon.
yeah, there you go. Like you said, since you've been off of Twitch for a while, people still want to see your content. They can check it out on YouTube. YouTube, just type in "Rated M for Immaturity." They'll be able to find you there, playing all types of different games there: action games, horror game, adventure games, fighting games, all that good stuff there. JRPGs there. You got Final Fantasy. You got horror games, Alan Wake 2. You got action games there with Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Fighting games with Mortal Kombat 1. So all different variety types of games. You got beat 'em up games. It's Scott Pilgrim versus the World 2D games like that. Seems like 2D games making a comeback. You got Ninja Gaiden, Ragebound, you had Shinobi, you had Prince of Persia, you got the Hades stuff. Seems like a lot of people doing a lot of 2D stuff. That Hollow Knight game, there was a sequel to that just came out. So very, very good. Seemed like a lot of 2D games out right now. Very awesome there. So yeah, all different types of games right here on Rated M Trivia. You can check that out right there. Getting close to 100 right there, and getting close to 500 over here on Twitch. Very nice. Just
Not too
10 away there from good old 500. That's a good number. Half away from 1,000. So
far.
there. Very awesome there. Uh, very, very good stuff there. So we're gonna be discussing Peacemaker season 2, the first 3 episodes there. Then we're gonna be getting into and then we're gonna be doing a spoiler talk for it, the 3 episodes.
Now,
Then
I have only seen the first one, I will say.
oh, you only see the first one. Oh, okay, gotcha. We also doing trailers. There's the Knives Out trailer that came out today. This is the third Knives Out film. Knives Out, Wake Up, Dead Man. When I was on the show with Neil, I called it Knives Out, Walking Dead, or Knives Out, Dead by Daylight. I was like, I know, but it's Knives Out, Wake Up the Dead. So do that trailer. There's also Bone Temple. So 28 years later, it has a sequel, and it's going to be called 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. But
That
it's
was a
not going to
level
be
in Mortal Kombat at one point, I'm pretty sure.
pretty sure it's probably yeah. That's a good fighting game. The Bone Temple, yeah. That sounds like something Shane Sun would be in. And then so Nia DaCosta's doing this one. Danny Boyle is not doing this one. So so
Gotcha.
she's doing that. So it's going to be like a 28 years later trilogy.
Yep.
So uh, Danny Boyle is going to do the third one. And then so she's doing this middle one.
I believe
Um,
Killian Murphy is only intended to be coming back in the third movie.
oh okay. Oh, I thought he. Oh, okay, I thought he was in Bone Temple. He's not in Bone Temple. I thought he was.
Maybe he shows up there, but I heard they were saving him for the last one. But
Ah, okay. Well, maybe. Well, we'll get into it. I haven't seen the trailer for each. I like to have those fresh reactions, authentic reactions,
I haven't either.
yeah, so hey, be good. Also discuss ideas for Mana tomorrow. They announced a sequel there. It seemed like the only person not happy about it was Simon Liu. It seemed like he was the only person not excited about the Superman sequel there. But yeah, discuss just the theories on that, what our thoughts on it is, what we want to see next in the Superman sequel from James Gunn, who's coming back. And it seems like, hey, David Cornsweet's coming back, Nicholas Holt's coming back, Rachel Brosnan's coming back. So yeah, get the core, Lois, Lex, and Clark. So there
I
you
think
go.
they confirmed all the Justice Gang characters would be back too.
Yes, there was a post I think from Elizabeth Marced, who made a post that see you soon, or can't wait to see what I do next. So yeah, so they'll be back as well there.
Hopefully less screeching.
Yeah, you did not like that screeching, man. That battle cry that she had there. But yeah, so get into that. And then we've got some time and do the James Bond. Do that real quick. Discuss that footage. There was some footage of James Bond came out. Hold on just a minute. All right. So yeah, and do that. All right, let's discuss these trailers first, and get into that, and then we can get into the review there. So I'll go ahead. I'll pull up this review since this is the first kind of oldest one. I'll pull up the 28 years later trailer that came out there a few days ago. Pull this up. So this is 28 years later. This is 28 years later, The Bone Temple. So this is the sequel to the 28 years later film there. This is the fourth film in the 28 franchise, I guess you call it, universe or whatever they're calling it. This is directed by Nia DaCosta. So this is my first time seeing this. Is your first time seeing it? Let's check it out.
Trying to predict the future is a discouraging and hazardous occupation. In fact, it may not even exist at all.
Oh, what is this? I cannot see. Oh, I am this.
And then you got Ralph Fiennes there, who's coming back from his character in 28 years later. I forgot his name there, but he was like a doctor. Do you remember his name?
Not off the top of my head, but he was. I mean, I do think he was probably the most interesting character in the first movie.
Yeah, definitely was there.
None can excel.
Many of the things we take for granted will one day pass away completely.
I open the door of heaven and hell.
When that time comes, men will no longer communicate.
And wow, relatively pretty soon, January. So that's pretty soon that they're coming out with this.
Yeah, I think because they filmed it so close to the first one, or filmed them practically back to back. I think.
Yeah.
Have diseases and barbarism.
And you see these people here who you got introduced to at the end of the last movie. This gang there of Power Rangers, I guess, jumpsuit Power Rangers.
Power Rangers, Teletubby, Jimmy Seville.
Yeah. Which is led by Jack O'Connell there, who people might just saw him in Sinners. He was just in Sinners recently as the main vampire in that. But yeah, these characters got introduced there at the end of 28 years later. And yeah, some people liked it, some people didn't. Some people thought it was like, what the fuck was that? It came in, but yeah.
I was on the what the fuck was that train. I mean, I almost can't believe this trailer for this next one is even like trying to convey a serious tone after how goofy the last one ended.
The whole world
Damn.
will cease to make any sense.
That's some fucked up haircuts too. Jeez, I guess is that a prerequisite? I guess I don't.
And they all have to wear Jimmy Savile wigs, I guess, as part of this cult.
Yeah, I guess so. But his is nice though, so I guess only his can look nice. Everybody else got to look fucked up. I guess.
He's got like a L'Oreal shampoo commercial look going on there.
Yeah.
The whole world will cease to make any sense.
Well, that happened. We already had that happen.
The world's ceasing to make sense. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, the last 5 minutes of the previous movie ceased to make sense.
Look at the incredible changes we've experienced.
Oh, is that the Monster Dong dude? He's making a comeback, so he's coming back, huh?
Yeah, that was, I think, in the beginning of the trailer. That was him that Ray Fiennes was slowly approaching as well.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he's making a comeback. Yeah, Monster Dong dude. All right.
Maybe he's the secret protagonist of the trilogy.
Yeah.
We've experienced and survived.
Okay. Do you know if this is supposed to be after the events of 28 years later, before the events of it, or?
Well, we saw. I'm forgetting the character's name now, but we one of the kids at the table that's wearing the wig is the kid from the last movie. So I think it's just supposed to be taking.
Oh yeah, this kid.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it is. It's I think it's a direct sequel. We might get some flashbacks. There was the shots of like people on the train at the beginning, but for the most part, I'm guessing this is going to be a direct follow up.
Okay, yeah, okay, so yeah, he's right here too,
because he's been
and
sucked into the Jimmy Savile cult that exists.
okay.
And survived. And yet even greater changes are still to come.
Are you ready?
There you go. So what are you thinking? What are your thoughts there?
Well, after the last one, I'm not necessarily excited actively to see this, other than I just wonder what bizarre direction might they take. Like, not that it couldn't surprise me and be good, because I'm sure that that's possible, but watching the footage here, it really has the feel of like when a video game lets your goofy alternate costume make it into the cutscenes. That's kind of what this looks like. These wigs on everybody. Like, I get the point of it. I do get the point of it. I get like the context and the background in British culture of Jimmy Savile and of the time period, and I get what they're going for, but it looks ridiculous, and I just don't know if I can take this seriously with that going on.
Um, I don't know exactly what the story is gonna be for this. It seems like right now at the moment from what I'm getting from the trailer is gonna be the gang versus the doctor here, Ray Fiennes' character, or them trying to take over his territory, maybe. It's
That
really
doesn't
kind of
seem like it would be that climactic of a fight. I'm just saying.
yeah. So I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, like the first trailer for 28 Years Later, that was interesting as well, and also keeping the whole kind of radio voice, kind of old wartime kind of narrative there. They're keeping that with it, and you see, I guess this gang is also maybe cannibals, maybe as well, because in the zombie apocalypse, you always got to have cannibals. You always got to have that.
Always.
Always got to have cannibals there. So you always got to have that aspect of it. But yeah, I mean, story wise, I mean, what are you getting from it there?
I mean, I'm not getting much other than the Jimmy Savile Teletubby gang have beef with this doctor for some reason. I couldn't imagine why. But what I do think is the only thing I'm really getting is that, yeah, the whole thing is being based around this location, or this location somehow being important or desirable. And I feel like because it was featured so heavily in the last movie, there's not a lot of mystery with what that is. Like, I feel like, and I'm sure I'm sure there's more going on, but I do see it, and my instant reaction is, oh, I kind of already know all about what the deal is with that place. So why are we going and spending another entire movie that's specifically titled after it? Again, maybe there's enough to it that is interesting, but it does seem like, yeah, I kind of already know that place. I don't know.
So here the premise is Wikipedia there. It says taking place after the events of the first film, Spike is inducted into Sir Jimmy Crystal's gang of acrobatic killers in a post-apocalyptic England ravaged by the rage virus. Meanwhile, Dr. Ian Kelson uncovers a deadly discovery that will have consequences that could alter the world. Damn, alter them more than it already is. I mean, what more can you do to this world?
Maybe it's less about the virus getting out into the rest of the world, and more about this Jimmy cult getting out into the rest of the world. Maybe that's the real danger here.
Oh, maybe they're gonna go out there. But you see that in the 28 years later that there's other countries patrolling the border of
Yep.
London, trying to keep people in there. I mean, so really, it's not really just. I mean, for them, it's not really the world; it's just England. It seems like in 20 years later, they were like, "Well, you guys deal with it.
Right.
You got it. We're gonna just stay away from you there." I mean, it's like, well, we'll see the London, the Eiffel Tower in Las Vegas. We got our own Eiffel Tower, so we got it. We're good. In London there, and we got our own London Bridge. We don't need to go to Europe. That's fine. But
Take
yeah,
pictures from a plane if you really got to go.
yeah, take pictures from a plane there. But Killian Murphy is listed as the in the cast I see
Oh,
here.
okay.
So he is listed there. There, I said the Eiffel Tower like that's Paris, not London, but
Right.
yeah, my bad about that. But yeah, he is listed in the cast here. So
Okay.
I don't know if he is gonna show up, if not, but yeah. Murphy said that he is only in the film for a little bit
Okay.
at the end, and that is his
She'll
appearance.
be the Jimmy of this movie.
Oh yeah, he'll show up. Yeah, he'll come at the end. I don't know
Change
what
the
he'll be.
tone drastically into a different film.
Yeah, he'll look like a Spider Punk. He's got like a mohawk and jacket on, and like he's got his own Spider Punk gang. Like so, yeah, he'll look like that.
I'd say that's ridiculous, but it wouldn't be any more ridiculous than the last one. So
Yeah, I remember the theory at first was that the guy in the trailer was Cillian Murphy. Like in the 28 years later,
oh, the
like
zombie.
the zombie people, like, oh, that's Cillian Murphy. And then somebody asked him about that in the interview, and he was like, "Well, I feel kind of flattered that somebody thinks I'm a looks like a zombified cadaver. I feel honored in that."
I'm
Uh,
not gonna lie, I did kind of think that might be him the first time I saw it too.
Yeah, I'm trying to see exactly where they see that zombie at, because it's in the trailer. Oh, right here. But let me pull it up right here. But yeah, so people thought this was him.
There's
Yeah,
I don't know. There's a little bit of similar face, despite the degradation of it.
yeah. But January next year. So pretty soon we're gonna be in January. It's already almost October,
Yeah,
then December, then November, December, then boom, there you go. January's coming. So there you go.
2026. Be here before we know
2026
it.
before we know it. Um, awesome stuff there. So there we go. All right. January 16th. There's been some usually January, February was kind of like dump month for studios. I feel like there's been some decent movies that have come out in January. I like Bad Boys that came out in January. That was pretty good. I like that one.
It was a
Uh,
long time ago now, but the Gray that came out in January, I think.
okay, yeah, that was good. I like The Gray. I know people got ripped off by The Gray, but I like it. People thought it was like, oh, it's Taken versus Wolves, and it's
Oh,
a little more than that. But
I think
yeah,
I would have liked that much less actually.
I think Megan came out in January, if I'm not mistaken. The first
Oh, okay.
Megan, which I liked. I thought it was decent. That was all right. So yeah, so 28 years later, there.
It's because
The
they're
bump.
making so many movies that now the room in which they have to fit them has expanded into what used to be those dump months.
Yeah, true. So I mean, people say that the new dump month is maybe August now, maybe like August or
I think
something.
that fits. Yeah, August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Move on to our next trailer here. Our next trailer is going to be for Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man. I'm a fan of the Knives Out series. I like Ryan Johnson a lot. Ryan Johnson is one of my favorite directors. I've loved his work ever since Brick. I've loved Brick a lot with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I loved I know you don't, but I do love Last Jedi. I do love that. And yeah, so I do love his work there. The only movie I really dislike of his is or don't like as much is I think Looper. I'm not a big Looper guy.
Yeah, I wasn't big on that one either. I do love Brick though. I am a big fan of that one. So
Yeah. But yeah, Brothers Bloom I like a lot. That one with Mark
yeah, no,
Ruffalo.
excellent. Yeah,
But
and I
yeah,
mean his the episode of Breaking Bad he directed is like one of the best episodes of that show as well.
yeah. So he's done some TV work too. Yeah, Breaking Bad. Also, I do like his show Poker Face. He does some. He's I think the showrunner for that. That's the show with Natasha Lyonne in it.
Oh, okay, I haven't
He-
actually seen any of that myself.
yeah, I recommend checking it out. It's pretty decent there. Now the other Knives Out film, Glass Onion, it was kind of a letdown, I think, from the first movie. I didn't really like it as much. I thought it was okay. How did you feel about Glass Onion?
So I actually haven't seen any of these movies.
Oh wow, you haven't seen any? Okay,
I haven't seen a single Knives Out film.
okay. Well, let's get a taste of it. With Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. There, let's check it out. Um, and these do pretty well. I think Glass Onion, when it had its theatrical run, did really well in theaters, and then they pulled it, and everybody was like, "Why the hell did you pull it? It was making good money.
Hmm.
Why did you pull it?" But let's check out this.
This murder was dressed as a miracle.
Daniel Craig now looks like Pierce Brosnan now, kind of.
A little bit, yeah.
I'm turning
He's starting
into
to
a
take that on.
I guess that's just what happens to elderly bonds. I guess they just morph into each other. Then
He also, as him old, also looks a little bit like a younger Jeremy Irons because Jeremy Irons looked so old when he was young.
oh yeah. Hey,
This
man.
murder was dressed as a miracle. But what happened that night is a much, much
What expression
larger scheme.
is Jeremy Renner making right there? Like, what is that? What does that say?
It says, I mean, I could be playing Hawkeye right now. You know what I mean? You know, like, man, I could be getting paid double the money if they still let me be Hawkeye. That's that expression, yeah.
Yeah, I think that fits.
There's a much, much.
But much like with Knives Out movie, they always have like an all-star cast, you know, like all these people in it. The last movie had a bunch of people like Dave Bautista, Edward Norton, Kate Hudson. Like that's always a big thing with these movies is like, oh, who's going to be a part of the cast of these movies, you know?
Larger scheme. To understand this case, you need to look at the myth that's being constructed. A man gives a sermon.
he's listening to it on a podcast. He's like, oh man, I can just listen to a podcast of the church. I don't need to actually be here. I forgot, isn't that the actor from Sideways?
I don't recognize him actually, but
I feel like that's the dude that was inside. He was also Sandman. I forgot his name. But yeah, I'll look at the cast after this.
it is Thomas Hayden Church.
Thomas Hayden Church. That's
Yeah, you're right. Wow, I didn't recognize him with the white hair.
Yeah, everybody's getting old, man. Everybody getting old. Man. Yeah.
The last time I saw him, he was CGI for 2.5 hours.
What movie was that?
Spider-Man.
Oh, that was the last Thomas Hayden Church movie you saw was Spider-Man?
I haven't seen him in anything.
Wow, yeah.
He then, in plain sight of everyone, walks into a sealed concrete box. And 30 seconds later, that man is lying dead. A classic, impossible crime.
Okay, you're freaking me out now.
This is a holy mystery. Unsolvable.
Holy shit.
Sorry. What the hell happened?
We do not know.
Yeah. Mila Kunis in it. I don't know. Yeah.
I haven't seen her in a minute either.
Yeah. I think last time I seen her, she was maybe in Bad Moms. She was in that. But I know you probably haven't seen Bad Moms.
I've seen that.
Okay.
Oh, and when I said I hadn't seen Thomas Hayden Church since Spider-Man, I meant No Way Home, not Spider-Man 3.
Right. Yeah. Man.
What happened?
Because I mean, did he still voice that character in?
It was still his voice. It was clearly a COVID thing, and he was just CG, like in like physical appearance the whole time.
Yeah.
We do not know.
What is truth? We don't know that. We don't. What exists? Does any of this exist? So,
What is even happening right now?
It is time to discover what this flock of wicked wolves is hiding.
Confess.
All right, stop. Here's what's gonna happen. Denmark, Frickin' Blanc, and I are gonna ask you all some questions, and you're gonna answer them. We're gonna get to the bottom of who killed Monsignor Wicks and why. And then that's it.
Now, who wants to go first?
Yeah. Man. So it's gonna have the same thing, short theatrical run. Then it's gonna be on Netflix a little bit, but I do recommend people do see it in theaters. Well, if it's good, I guess. Do check it out in theaters there. So for this being your first Knives Out film, what's your first impressions there?
Well, I mean, I like the whole, small space, charismatic detective, group of people where anybody could be the killer mystery. I like that whole genre and style and the feel of that. And I think Daniel Craig is great. And I mean, the character that he's playing here, I think seems like he's got that charisma and really got that all kind of nailed down. So, but I can only compare to, say, the trailers I've seen for the other movies, which I've seen the marketing for them, even though I haven't watched the full films. But I guess my wonder here is, just based on the trailers, if it seems like what they're doing in the mystery that they have is different enough from the other ones, Like just based on the trailers alone, it almost seems like another trailer for the same movie to me. Like it's
Yeah.
because it's just so similar in how it's cut together and styled.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, I can see your point on that. I mean, it's another, he gets called to do a case, and then it's in like this enclosed environment, much like Glass Onion, much like the first Knives Out film. The first Knives Out film took place in a home, in a manor. The second one took place on like a remote island, with this like billionaire's home.
Okay.
This one's taking place in a church. So it's not, you don't feel like it's enough different change of scenery, maybe, or you just think,
I think it very well might be in the films themselves, but just looking at the trailers alone, it just seems like the form they're sticking very very close to the same formula, which is not necessarily a bad thing either. I just wonder if, because I know you said that the second one was a bit of a step down, and I wonder if you might have that sort of same experience again, where it's like, yeah, it's not terrible, but they're kind of trying to recapture lightning in a bottle a little bit.
mm, yeah. Um, and the cast, I mean, like I said, still got an all-star cast. You got Josh O'Connor in this, who people might know. He just was in Challengers. He was in that film. You also have Glenn Close in this there, legendary actress there. You got her. You got Josh Brolin, who's the person that ends up dead. He's the priest there. You got Mila Kunis, who you saw there. You got Jeremy Renner. You got Kerry Washington. You got Andrew Scott. Kaylee Spaney, who's a new young rising talent. She was, people might know, Alien Romulus. She also played Priscilla Presley there. You got Daryl McCormick there, and Thomas Hayden Church as well there. So do you like the cast of this
Yeah,
movie?
I like the cast. I mean, I've the thing is I've seen the trailers for all of these movies, and every single time I'm like, wow, that's a great cast. And I've also made like the mental note of I should watch these, and I just haven't done it yet. But maybe I'll finally go and sit down and watch the first one because this is coming out soon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, it's on Netflix. It's available there. I love the first one. I think the first one's really good. I think Daniel Craig, I mean, he has a lot of fun playing this role as Benoit Blanc, who, people have compared obviously to like Hercule Poirot, who we've gotten that, who people might have seen in recent movies, like played by Kenneth Branagh, Sherlock Holmes. Obviously, there's a lot of that inspiration from those classic kind of stories there. And this was good. I mean, I think, having this cast all bounce around off each other. I don't think the cast has been, even in Glass Onion, I don't think the cast was as good as the first movie, even in Glass Onion there. I think that really worked there. But yeah, I mean, I really love it. I might actually see it again, actually talking about it before I even watch the newest one before it comes out. But I still see people are pretty hyped about it, pretty looking forward to this new one here. I think it'll probably do well maybe in theaters. Like I said, the sequel did well and they pulled it early, but I was like, why'd you do that? But yeah, so
I'm
I like,
assuming it's because they have the same sort of Netflix contract that this one does.
probably, yeah, it's probably what it is there. But yeah, I mean, Dan Craig, it seems like I think he even said that he has way more fun playing this than he ever did James Bond. So he's way more fun doing that. Yeah, he said he wanted to slit his wrist when he played James Bond or something like that.
He definitely was not having a great time, which I get. I mean, it's demanding for sure. Which it's funny though. Since there's the James Bond game coming out, in the Hitman game by the same developers, there's a level that they did in, I want to say it was the third game, that was essentially that Knives Out sort of setup. Like each level is like a miniature open world. This one was a mansion. The premise of going to that particular level was that you were pretending to be a detective that was then investigating a mystery. And instead of just doing like an assassination, you could actually play the role and do the entire like mystery solving thing. And that was like one whole way to solve that particular area. So there's an interesting kind of coincidental interplay between those two franchises right now.
Mm. Yeah. So this one's coming out. Let's see here. Wake up. So September 6th there. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's when it premiered at TIFF. November 26th is when it's coming
Okay.
out.
I was gonna say, if it was September 6th, it's out already.
Yeah. Hey, go rush to see it. It's out already. But in November 26th is when it's coming out. So a good slate of movies coming out. So I'm gonna be busy in the theater these next few months. There's a lot of stuff coming out, a lot of good stuff there. So busy, busy, busy there. But yeah, I hope it's better than the last one. I didn't hate the last one. I just thought it was a little step down. That's all. But I didn't hate it though. But yeah, Ryan Johnson, so it's back. I guess that Star Wars trilogy, I guess that's gone. That's I guess just give up on that, I guess.
I think
Yeah.
if you can assume that if they announce a Star Wars movie, it's gone.
Yeah. Well, they are doing that one with Ryan Gosling, right? The Starfighter or something like that. Or
Supposedly, but I'll believe it when there's a trailer.
yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of, since we already talking about James Bond anyway, might as well bring up the footage there. So they did some recent footage. They showed some more kind of gameplay stuff with this new James Bond game that's going to be coming out. So it's called 007 First Light is what it's called. So you want me to show the gameplay trailer? Would that be better? Or do you want me to show the whole demo that they did?
Up to you. I mean, the trailer's quick and easy. I mean, I feel like it gets the big points across. I'd say that the longer demo footage is if you really want to get into the little nitty gritty of every detail and see how it like is moment to moment playing it.
Okay, I'll play this trailer when we'll talk about the trailer, and then as we're talking about the trailer, I'll pull up the demo. And if anything like up at the demo, I'll kind of skip through that and see if it's something to talk about there. Or you can put on some highlights there if you liked about it. But this is 007 First Light. This is the gameplay trailer that we got right here.
I'm not loving the odds.
Oh, I've had worse.
In that case,
Dude, so the actor that's playing him is the guy from Dexter, right?
It is. Totally is.
So the people were right about that. There is the guy from Dexter there. Well, he needs something to do. That show got canceled, so
Right.
so he can do a sequel. His schedule is wide open. He can do a sequel.
Well, what are we waiting for? No sign of 009.
We need to inform M.
Yeah.
No time.
Who do you think is more of a sociopath, Dexter or James Bond?
I mean, I feel like Dexter would be. I guess it depends on what version of James Bond. Because George Lazenby, man.
I'd actually never seen that one. I've never seen that Bond before.
Oh, it's just awful.
Okay. What was this movie again? It was
On Your Majesty's Secret Service.
Ah, yes. Okay, I have not seen that.
And then they drove a dump truck full of money to Connery's house to get him to come back.
I'm going after him. Make him call off the attack.
Are you out of your mind?
I'll be careful. He'd been the phone.
Go to the security room, first floor.
and you are?
Rob Minkley.
He's with me.
Come on, Moneypenny. If I lose the trail, we'll never know who they're working for. Oi, you lads got a faulty coffee machine? I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
You're not. Damien, meet.
Bond. James Bond.
He said like very Hitman, Uncharted kind of like there.
Yeah, it's definitely a mixture of those two. And this trailer is probably giving maybe more Uncharted vibes than Hitman vibes, just because it's cut up, to be exciting and as action-packed as it can be. But especially in that longer demo, you do see, and they take you through the much kind of slower pacing of actually gathering intel and going about the situation in a variety of different ways. They make it like with small choices, even it's like, oh, here's 3 places you could get this item that you need, and you can tackle that in all these different ways. But that's the huge part of why I think this studio fits this property so well to begin with.
If 009 slips through our fingers, we're the last line of defense.
Someone just tried to kill me.
Tell me you caught him.
How do you like the kind? Does it look fluid to you? Does it look kind of
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it just kind of looks like Uncharted 4 to me, which is, I think, a game that has held up remarkably. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't look complicated, but I also don't think it necessarily needs to be. Especially because the slower paced parts where you're trying to be stealthy, those look like they've got the kind of more significant complexity to it. Like that feels like the real meat of the game, and that there's combat, if you mess up, if you mess up the stealth, or it's there if you want to, but it's not your primary way of solving problems. So maybe it doesn't look as like the greatest combat mechanics in the world, but I think it looks like it fits what this is well.
Got a chase driving sequence here,
which is something that was definitely never been in any of the Hitman stuff.
I wonder if they'll do. Oh, we say
there's just a quick shot of him using the laser watch there.
Oh, right. Oh yeah, right there.
Yeah.
I wonder, since they have the James Bond, you see the music, they're playing that, the theme. I wonder if they'll have an original song for this. I wonder if they'll
that would be cool. I hope they do.
Yeah.
Always.
Looks like some good action set pieces.
The plane crash thing here that's very Uncharted. And that feels particularly like that game.
March 27, 2026.
That's not too far off.
Yeah. So excited about this?
Yeah, I think this looks cool. I want to get my hands on it, and I want to see just how complex the levels are, and just how much variety there is and what you can do. Because that's what's so good about those Hitman games. I guess now that they're all out, it's just kind of referred to as the World of Assassination trilogy. But those levels are so complicated and have so much going on, and you could play them a dozen times thoroughly and still not have uncovered all of the different ways that you can go about each mission. And that, so if this game has even just like half as much, and then makes up with the other half with kind of the more large scale action sequence stuff, I feel like you have a great game on your hands just from that. We'll see how, the one thing that I am maybe slightly apprehensive about is I do think this car chase goes on a really long time in this demo. And it does feel a little bit like sort of a PS2 car chase mission, where it feels like it's only got so much to it and it's just kind of driving. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing if the driving feels really good, and I guess we won't know that until I get our hands on it.
Damn, he feel like he lost the guy. Like the guy's like way ahead of like, where are you driving? Okay, oh, you finally caught up to him. Okay, good.
Yeah, that part that felt like it was maybe a little unnecessarily long, especially because there's also a driving sequence. It's not a chase, but it is a driving sequence up to this like party at the beginning of the demo too. So it's a lot of that driving, and it's not necessarily like a huge red flag, but I hope that there's just maybe more to it, or the sequences maybe are shorter at different times. But that's really the only big negative that I have here. Otherwise, I like that the gameplay in this, like this is a big action scene, but there's also a lot of gadgets in the game too. There's a lot of little gadgets, hacking things, little watch laser, poison darts. There's a bunch of that stuff in here too. So, and that's something that isn't like, it's in Hitman in ways that you can like find and pick stuff up, but here it's more like a Batman Arkham game where you're sort of having to manage those little resources and then refill them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And this is the scene that we saw on the trail on the plane, which looks really good. That looks really cool. Damn.
Just throw.
Yeah, I guess, hey, that's the way to do it. I guess they just fling them.
Gotta scrape off Bob off the tarmac later.
Yeah, so this looks exciting. This is fun. I mean, it's not reinventing the wheel when it comes to what it's doing, but does it really have to necessarily? Not really, to be an enjoyable game, I don't think. So there is that.
I think it's just a matter of you're combining things that work from a couple of different games in a way that James Bond as a property has never had before.
And this is the free fall that you're gonna have. So there's that.
Get a parachute off that guy.
But yeah, that's exactly what just using that guy. Yeah. So we got that. But yeah, I mean, it looks exciting. I mean, a lot of people did. I saw a lot of people do as well complain about the car chase as well there, and so yeah, they did kind of go on for a while, and then also mostly you're just kind of going in a straight line for the most of it.
Yeah, it feels. Yeah, that's what I mean by PS2 is it's this very kind of guided on rails track, which I think is fine if it's short and to the point. But it again, just the length of it just seemed a little unnecessary. But
Yeah. But we'll see. There some more stuff will probably come out there as the game gets closer to release. Like I said, March 27th. Not that far. Like I said, yeah, that's going to be coming in no time for that. So,
it's not
yeah.
going to beat Grand Theft Auto 6 for Game of the Year, but I think it'll be fun.
No. Oh, yeah. No, it's not going to beat that. Uh, all right. So that was all our trailers there for tonight. I'm gonna invite Conan in because I know I promised him 7. So we'll do that real quick. We'll do this is Spinal Tap, and then after that we'll do Peacemaker. Can you stick with me there, or do you want to head out and then come back in?
I'll head out and then I maybe can come back in depending on what time it is. But
Okay. But I'll let you know though if you are in Discord. I'll let you know.
okay,
Very good there. But
sounds
thank
good.
you. Say I'll see you. Hopefully, see you soon.
Yeah,
But if
hopefully
not,
soon.
that's okay too.
Cool.
All right. I will send a link here. Send a link to Conan. So Conan's gonna be joining me real quick to do this review for This Is Spinal Tap. Do a review for that. Put my notes for that one. Do. Cancel out. Doing this because there's the sequel coming out. Spinal Tap continues there. Doing a sequel to that. So I just wanted to do a retro review of this movie. And see what's kind of going on there. It's been a minute since I've seen this movie, which is directed by Rob Reiner. There we go. There. Very cool there. Hopefully, after that, we can do Peacemaker. Do a discussion on that. But I know Sage says he hasn't seen everything there of Peacemaker. So I don't know. Maybe it'd be good to wait until he's seen all the episodes. Maybe that'll be good. Very nice. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, but classic film, Spinal Tap. There. Uh, Excited to see it. Excited to check it out. And excited to talk about the sequel there. And Conan Neutron, a movie night extravaganza, is going to be joining me. Conan Neutron was also a part of. He also did his own review of This Is Spinal Tap, so which I checked out a little bit of it for the stream. Let me see if I can pull it up and do it there. Let's see here. Let's see, go to my history there. And see if I can find it. Ah, here it is, right here.
That kills at the record store. Anyway, yeah, Christina, good to see you. I know you're following this Amber Heard, Johnny Depp thing. so much that you're basically the sole source of truth as far as I'm concerned.
Johnny Depp. Let's go.
Okay, this was a
watched
while
that,
ago. They talking about
clip
that.
today where they were talking about how like he did a bunch of ecstasy or something over 3 days and allegedly beat her up or something. And
Yeah, ecstasy will do that to you.
Actually, all the members of the cast
sounds
kind of
like
do look
meth
like
more than anything,
Spinal
but-
Tap a little bit. I mean, I think you kind of get that
Well,
going.
when you confuse the two, that happens.
Yeah, well, Destiny did that one time during a debate. All right. Also joined by Erica Strout, Georgia-based filmmaker, musician, plays with Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends.
Yeah, Hi.
Oh, his bandmate is on this. So his
Thanks for having me
bandmate is on it.
This special and
Okay.
special episode. I'm happy to be here.
I'm stoked to have you. It's this is gonna be great. It's really funny that all the people that I'm so excited to talk to, none of them are on the screen right now, but all the other people that are in here, I'm also very
You're not excited to. Okay.
I was gonna say there's just so much. There's so much to talk about and so much to talk to. So I think Forrest, we were talking about maybe like playing the trailer and then bringing on Jerry.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. So I know you like to play the trailer beforehand. That's a thing that this show, Movie Night Extravaganza, Protonic people that should be paying attention to this show and don't should subscribe and
So
like.
if you want to check it out, they are able to right there. Movie Night Extravaganza. Have a bunch of different reviews there on their channel. And right there, so people can check it all out right there. And then even with this video, you can see I made a comment right there. So made a comment right there. But a channel that definitely deserves some more love. Definitely love a lot about this channel, the people involved in it. Really definitely love the cast there. All the cast have been, pretty much everybody's been on this show before. I just had Forrest on recently. I had Christina. I've had Christina on many times. I've had Jay Andrew on many times. Conan on. This is would be his third time actually. And Speak of the Devil. There he is as he appears. This was I was just playing your review there of it. For it, just looking at it. Thank you.
Good old Spinal Tap. Yeah, great to be here.
Yeah, I was saying that. I mean, kind of the band. I mean, y'all could kind of be the band. I think is good, kind of 1-to-1 there. Look kind of there. I say it's all long hair. I mean, we could put a wig on Forrest, and we could do something there.
Yeah, I'm not sure who the exploding drummer would be necessarily in this outfit, but take that if you will. Definitely, Forrest and I have had some Daniel St. Hubbins, Nigel Tufnell style back and forths over the years for sure. I guess the question, does that make Christina Derek Smalls? I guess so.
I guess. And then who would Jay be?
Jay Underworld would be Viv.
Viv, okay.
He'd be the keyboard player.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So this is like an all-time favorite comedy, an all-time favorite movie of mine, and I'm happy to talk about it because I feel like it's often quoted, but I don't think it's actually discussed that much, which is interesting because there is this Spinal Tap 2. They did a sequel coming up, and it's interesting how little it's actually discussed. Yet amongst band people, I mean, it's just back and forth all the time with quotes, period. There's so many, God, it hits. So basically, one of the most apocryphal quotes I think you can, to understand Spinal Tap, Ozzy Osbourne watched it and didn't realize it was a comedy at first. Like when it came out, it was, and you gotta admit, and this is Ozzy then his peak, drugged out era, but it was totally didn't understand why people were laughing. It hit, and that's one of the reasons why it's so good is because it hits so close to what the world of band life is, and it's portrayed as excess, like the arena rock excess, like a Led Zeppelin and things along those lines, but it's done so well, and in the way that you see their old bands. Oh, it's their skiffle band. Here's the one where they had the pop hit, and they're on they had Sullivan Style Show, and you have their flower. Listen to what the flower people say, and it's done really well in that genre. And you see throughout the the genre of rock and roll as we know it, you see that they've kind of adapted and changed and whatnot in such a ways that if you're familiar with the stories of actual big bands of that era, it's even funnier because it's like, oh yeah, I know who that's lampooning. Stonehenge, that's Thin Lizzy. Like that's, but also it's a little bit of Black Sabbath when they had a big stage prop that didn't work. And the chrysalis when he gets stuck in the chrysalis. It's great. And you don't need to know those things to be like, wow, that's ridiculous and absurd. But what's interesting to me, and I'd be interested in your take on this, Josh, is because I am a little older than you, but I came in at the tail end of kind of the arena rock world, right? Like when I was in high school is when grunge hit and like all the big hair farmer bands were kind of like on the outs and whatnot. And like the big arena rock productions were kind of like seen with sort of scorn and scrutiny, justifiably so if you ask me. But I don't feel like we have those kinds of kind of monoculture sensibilities anymore. Like if we do, it's going to be something like a Kanye or something where it's just, oh, he's just really too online. It isn't like the ridiculousness of a live show, because even the ridiculousness of the live show has been sort of absorbed into the pop entity, right? We just talk about, oh, well, of course Taylor Swift has this like gigantic show with like, I have no idea what's in a Taylor Swift show, frankly. But if you said there was an exploding vagina, I'd be like, sure. Yeah, it makes sense.
Like, I don't know, like Chaperone or...
Yeah, I mean, whoever...
Lady Gaga.
Sure, Lady Gaga is probably a good example because she has a sense of the absurd. But, I mean, there was a time that it was like, wow, isn't it absurd that like these guys are... that like the rock and roll show, which the real push for that was Kiss, which say what you will about them as people, especially Gene Simmons, but I mean they like exploded the drum sets and had fireworks and like it was a show, and that just got bigger and bigger as that band got bigger, and that became sort of an arms race for ridiculous things that have nothing to do with music. And so a lot of what Spinal Tap is referencing is sort of like a band being in that world and in the lexicon of the movie and the world, that they're a band of this level that you just don't know, which again makes perfect sense why Ozzy didn't know it was a comedy,
So that was a great lead in there to talk about this movie. So we're going to be doing a retro review of This Is Spinal Tap there. Reason why I'm doing this, there is the sequel coming out. I played a little bit of the trailer for this. There is a sequel coming out called Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues, which is releasing this week in theaters there. They did re-release the original film in theaters for a limited time there, so people could see it. So people did do that there, which is probably good.
I would have loved to have seen that in the theater, especially with a big crowd. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, and hello, thank you, Lucky Dog. Thank you, man. Much appreciated there. But yeah, so they are doing it a 41-year later sequel there to this movie, because this came out in 1984. The first one did, and like you said, it's a mockumentary there, style of comedy about this fake band called Spinal Tap. And starring in the movie, it's directed by Rob Reiner, who's a longtime director there. People might know him for a lot of classic films that he's done over the years there. People know he did A Few Good Men. He's done Misery. He's done also a movie I really liked a lot there as well. I kind of like LBJ. That's decent, I think, as well there. I think that's.
I forgot he did that. Yeah, he has a lot of like pretty good movies, and I will say his hit ratio for me, for my sensibilities lately, not so great, which I think is maybe the biggest reason to be wary about the Spinal Tap sequel, is that just there's just a certain thing to be said. It was a time and a place, and honestly the birth of the rockumentary, the mockumentary, just where it was like, oh, this is. And we think about it now, and it's so normalized. It's so just and think of things like Borat or something along those lines, right? That it's like, oh, this is a documentary, but really it's like being played for comedy, and this is certain things are exaggerated, and or people are both in or not in on it. Like we think of it all the time. There was nothing like this at the time. Nothing at all like this. And then people will be like, oh, I love Christopher Guest movies. Cool, me too. Christopher Guest is in this movie, but this is Rob Reiner. This is not Christopher Guest. Christopher Guest did like Best in Show, Mighty Wind, Waiting for Guffman, so on and so on. Great movies that are even more like improv based, but Yeah, I mean, Rob Reiner, for me, it's all about Stand By Me, Princess Bride's amazing, Misery's fantastic. You mentioned Few Good Men. When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah. Get that.
Good. I actually watched that for the first time this year. I just had never seen it for whatever reason. And I mean, even though it's pretty dated, American President's is pretty good. That's a wildly divisive since it's Aaron Sorkin written, and it's sort of American President begat The West Wing. So I don't know. I guess you can kind of blame that on Rob Reiner, but mostly Aaron Sorkin. But I think that it defined a genre that we think about as just a genre of comedy now. There was just not anything like Spinal Tap at the time, and there certainly was not in the world of rock and roll, band world, kind of behind the curtain, if you will. And so it was groundbreaking in a number of ways. And again, that's why you mentioned the Movie Night Extravaganza episode we did, which was a crossover episode with my show, Protonic Reversal. And we had Chris Murphy of Sloan came on for that. Brian Teasley of Manor Asterman came on for that. Jerry Casale of Devo came on for that. And he mentioned in the course of the episode that Devo, you know, where they like get lost backstage and they can't find the stage and they keep like going round and round in circles. That actually happened to them. That actually happened to Devo. And I've heard that from like in interviews, Tom Petty, that happened to, like a bunch of bands, like bigger bands, not like bands like my size, but like big bands, like have had that actual thing happen to them, which makes it even funnier because it's like, oh no, this is the reason why it works is because it is based in like a certain reality that maybe we're kind of far afield from at this point. But I think it really works. So I'm curious, like, what's your take on Spinal Tap as far as that goes?
Just as far as the cultural kind of touchstone in it, as far as
I'm curious.
Well, you know, I'd seen this movie before. I hadn't seen it in a long time. So it was interesting going back and watching it again. I do like this style of music. I think they called it, I think with this classified cock rock is what the kind of what this is, I guess.
Hard rock's probably the preferred nomenclature, but yeah, sure. I mean, anytime you got cucumber stuffed into your pants wrapped in tinfoil, I suppose cock rock's going to be involved, right?
You know, that kind of period. Thin Lizzy, as you mentioned there.
Yeah.
Poison was big around this time in the 80s. So I can see the references there to a lot of that kind of the hair metal bands of that time. And there was a movie that came out that kind of also when the music, because there's still plenty of music documentaries that still come out today. And I wonder, did you ever see Pop Star Never Stop Popping?
Yeah. Pretty good. I guess that's sort of like, and that's like a sort of modern equivalent, kind of dealing with like the more pop world. Because now that's kind of what it is, right? It's either it's going to be some light sanitized version of hip hop, or it's going to be this like manufactured pop sensibility, et cetera, et cetera. And that's culturally where we are for what is left of a monoculture. But there would be no Pop Star without a Spinal Tap. Flat out. I mean, it just wouldn't exist. There's no way. I mean, I guess you have the Ruddles, which is sort of like the Monty Python Beatles takeoff, which is funny, but it doesn't hit the same way. And my point when we did it on Movie Extravaganza was that you had 3 different artists, prominent artists in their field, 3 different genres that all absolutely related to this movie, and in the way that they laughed hard, but also hit a little too close to home here and there. And wow, that there's something to be said for that, because I don't think there's another movie that like that for music. Whereas to say that something like Pop Star, another one I'll say Walk Hard, like that, and that's more of an excoriating the biopic world as well. But I feel like there's a bunch for like comedy and other creative acts and things along those lines, but there's nothing quite like Spinal Tap, which is why the pressure's on. Because I actually talked to Jerry Casale of Devo, because I said, "Hey, there's this Reiner's doing the Spinal Tap sequel. It's coming out. You know, if it's any good, you know, do you want to come on for that again?" He's like, "There's no way that's going to be any good." It's the first thing he said. Which I was like, "Jeez, tough room." Which, you know, I like to live in hope. I like to not be cynical about things. You know, we'll see.
So, I mean, is this the biggest gap we've ever had between 2 sequels, you think? Like 41 years? I'm trying to think
of
a
long time, man. I mean, well, let's see. Okay, so 28 years later wasn't even 28 years. It was, that's a good. How long was it for Color of Money and is it Color of Money? Right. And the one before that with Paul Newman. Why can't I think of what it is? The Hustler.
Oh, Hustler.
The Hustler.
I
Hustler
don't
and
feel
Color
that-
of Money, 61 and 86. Okay, got to do math. 25. 25 years. So I think so. But it is interesting because they kind of because the interesting thing about Spinal Tap 2, and it's different from something like Pop Star or Walk Hard, is that these guys will occasionally just get together as the characters for like a goof to do things. And a perfect example, I have the DVD, not even Blu-ray, DVD. And if you listen to the commentary track on the This Is Spinal Tap DVD, they do a commentary in character that is as hilarious as the actual movie. Now, how can you, if you don't have a physical copy of this, how do you find it? I don't know. I assume somebody probably uploaded it to the internet somewhere, but that's how much they enjoy these characters, and they do them all in character, and it's really good. And they've also done a few things over the years. There's a theater chain in Wisconsin, fantastic, that they're making a kind of a big to-do about premiering the Spinal Tap 2. And so they did like, I think it was, let's see, it was when I saw Caught Stealing. They had an upfront that had like the head of this theater chain with the guys from Spinal Tap in character as Spinal Tap, like doing a bit, like that kind of level of effort. You see what I mean? Where it's the characters are important to people. Like, I don't know how many bands have covered Big Bottom, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
Because first of all, it's preposterous, right? You know, I mean, but it's also like, oh, it's a song that features the bass. They did this whole thing a couple years back where they got like 28 bass players on stage at some, like some festival or something, and they all played Big Bottom, probably to the utter confusion of most of the people in the crowd. It's like, what is this? But it has that kind of cachet, is what I'm getting at. It has that kind of cachet that other movies even don't. Even A Mighty Wind, which is kind of like the same thing, but folk music, doesn't have that same cachet. There's something about Spinal Tap, which means that the pressure's on. Like, it matters more. It matters more that it needs to be good. And so that's why I'm, like I said, I'm cautiously optimistic. Members of Devo are pretty much assured it's going to suck.
Yeah. I think... I was going to say, I mean, thinking about just legacy sequels and sequels that, there was a big gap. There was Blade Runner, and that did turn out good, and you did... But that didn't have the same director come back. That was a different one. That was, from Ridley Scott to Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah. So that's 2017 versus 1982, right? So
yeah,
that's probably pretty close.
Yeah.
God, I didn't realize I'd be doing so much math.
Yeah, but it's not the same, obviously, as, this between the two of these ones.
Yeah, and that's a science fiction world. And I think in a world of science fiction, like that kind of thing makes sense. Although it's easier to kind of screw it up at the same time. But like with Spinal Tap, they're also playing on the fact of these old AF bands and artists coming back for another bite of the apple, which, okay, that's funny. I mean, look at, there's my friend Jason Miles, regular on Movie Night Extravaganza. This Is Revolution is his show. He has literally played in my touring band. Really great dude. He, before This Is Revolution kind of took off, he worked a lot of festivals and stuff, like just as like a day job thing, between tours. And I forget what they called it, but the thing that they called it was basically Old Cella, because it was all like Paul McCartney and The Who and like whatever. And all these bands are like, yeah, those bands are great in like, 1972. Like, but like now it's just like all these people that haven't, listened to a new record in 30 years or whatever, you know what I mean? And so they called it Old Cella, and Jason was like, bro. And I was like, what? It's like, you will not believe like how much money is flying around to this thing. I was like, no, I mean, I believe it, because these are all people that it's all boomers, right? They got all the money, so of course there is. It's gonna be big money. Get your Lipitor and and chill, listen to some tunes.
So do you think that's what kind of the sequels and kind of going to touch on just like man's coming out of retirement, doing one final tour, even though it's not going to be the final tour. That's going to kind of be the commentary.
I think that might be where they go, because look at like Kiss, right? They've been doing the final tour for like what seems like 10 years now. It's like, you still going, huh? Yeah, Stones, exactly. Yeah, and they'll probably, do some ticket price related humor, $500 tickets and stuff like that. And the Stones was the first one I saw that did that, where it's like, what, really? Is that a joke? It's like, oh, no. Oh, wow.
And
I mean, it's like, all right, if you're seeing them in like 1969 maybe or something, but like, I don't know about now.
And it'd be funny. I don't know. I think maybe
there's nothing wrong with rocking while getting older, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm not. I do it myself. I'm not hating on the old. I'm just saying that. And you know what? I can sit here and bitch about it and not buy a ticket, and that's fine. Those shows will do just fine, so great. But I think there is that kind of nostalgia industrial complex thing that I hope that they lay into. I think it'll be kind of a miss if they don't, frankly.
Yeah. Like Gen Z people getting them to be ironic, hipsters or something like that. Yeah.
Well, Walk Hard's a great example of there's the scene near the end of the movie. I actually forgot about this till we covered it on the show, where it gets sampled by a rapper, like one of his songs, but he's and then like he gets invited to like the Grammys or whatever, and he doesn't even understand why he's there. It's like, what, like, oh, they sample one of your songs, and it's like a 1 second piece in this like really dirty rap that was like very popular. Like however they get there, I think there's a lot of ways you engage with that, because the whole thing with Spinal Tap is they're earnest at who they are. And they're a certain archetype. Like, they're not villains. They're not... They maybe don't have a savviness that we equate with everything now, but they come from that time that you would get lost backstage, because, like, why would you know... why would you know the way to the stage? I have a guy for that, And it's like that world... And now that world's gone, so then it'll be interesting, in a good way, I hope, to see those changes applied, and with humor. Because if you look at, all the Christopher Guest stuff, it's always consistent. Michael McKean's a kind of more known, just like Bob Odenkirk. That running it as Bob Odenkirk's brother in Better Call Saul. People don't even realize it's the same guy. It's like, no, that's Michael McKean, man. That's like... That guy's like been a comedic. He was in Happy Days. He's been a comedic actor for forever. And I think that the fact that those guys really embody those characters and live those characters, I think that carries you a long way. And I think that to a certain degree, I guess we'll find out. You can just lift and shift them into different positions and kind of see, all right, well, that is funny or works, or that doesn't. And I hope it does, because there's plenty to be excoriated and lambasted and whatnot about our current musical world and creative world, right? That hasn't stopped. It's just like, is this going to be the medium to do it? I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Well, and you talk about the cast of this, the people involved. We already mentioned Rob Reiner. And the people that wrote this, so you got Christopher Guest in there. You mentioned his resume, what he's kind of done in there. You also mentioned Michael McKean there. People who have seen recently Better Call Saul, they did an amazing performance there dramatically. As the brother there. Harry Shearer is also in this as
Harry
well.
Shearer, amazing. Like, he's got a long and storied resume of his own. Really voice actor.
Yeah.
Very
Simpsons.
like well-known voice actor in The Simpsons and whatnot. Yeah, Harry Shearer is and in a way they're like titans of their craft on their own, right? And so that's that's what I'm saying, is that I hope, like I said, the fact that you have things, because that DVD release, I want to say about 20 years ago, like 22, 23 years ago, right? And they did that commentary for that DVD release, and it was funny. It was really funny. And all they were doing were like riffing on the same things. They were talking trash about Rob Reiner's character's beard, saying it was fake. They kept saying, "Oh, this one's dead. Oh, yeah, that one's dead." They were talking trash about the keyboard player. Like, it was funny because it was just improv comedy in the style of those characters, but also in the style of what it would be if it was a real documentary and a band was sitting there watching it and giving their commentary. And so it worked. It worked on a metacontextual level. And what is the world we live in now if not for uber metacontextual?
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna play some scenes from just so people to get a sense of the comedy and style there. I know if you had a favorite scene you want to kind of for me to pull up. I got, of course, the classic 11 scene right here.
Yeah, that's the one everyone knows, right? And for good reason, because it's. I mean, they've made pedals that just have 11 on the knob. You know what I mean? Like these things have become so normalized into society that it's huge. But if you somehow haven't seen it, it still goes. It's still funny. I've shown this to people the first time, and they totally laugh every time. Yeah,
if you can see, the numbers all go to 11. Look, right across the board. 11, 11,
And most of
11, and then
amps go up to 10.
Exactly.
Does that mean it's louder? Is it any louder?
Well, it's one louder, isn't it? It's not 10. You see, most blokes are going to be playing at 10. You're on 10 here, all the way up, all the way up,
Yeah.
all the way up. You're on 10 on your guitar. Where can you go from there? Where?
I don't know.
Nowhere, exactly. What we do is if we need that extra push over the cliff, you know what we do?
Put it up to 11.
11, exactly. One louder.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
Amazing, right? Because it's so idiosyncratic. It's so very much of that world, that you think of, especially amongst 70s bands where everybody is trying to be louder than everybody else and so on and so on. But it works even without all that because it's just absurd. Like, well, why don't you just make 10 louder? Well, but these go to 11. Great. That's what can you say to that? It's amazing. The repeated shtick of the drummers dying. He died in a bizarre gardening accident. Spontaneous combustion, so on and so on. They keep having like these. And includes. And I think when I relogged it on Letterboxd, Nigel Tufnell says, "Well, you can't really dust for vomit." He choked on his own vomit. Oh well, was it his own or someone else's? Well, you can't really dust for vomit. So that's what I'm talking about. Where it's just like they're just going, there's riffing, right? Great. And it's funny because I'm a huge fan of strong writing in comedy, but there is something to be said for just if you just go gags a minute, right? And like maybe they don't all land and some kind of sail by. That works too. I mean, Naked Gun's a perfect example of that, right? It's kind of a getting that back, but rather than it being like sight gags, it's mostly language based in this case. But then there's also like repeated things, like you see the party scene, and Nigel's got a cold sore, and David St. Hubman's got a cold sore. Like they've all got cold sores, and you're like, why do they have cold sores suddenly? It's like, well, you gotta imagine they're getting up to some kind of nonsense. And apparently, that I've actually read before coming on this show tonight that there was a dropped subplot where there was an opening band that had like female members, and I guess that the conceit was that they slept with the same woman and whatever, but they just didn't. They thought it slowed down the movie, so they took it out. But now they have the cold sores. So then people are like, "Oh, were they in a relationship together?" People are theorizing all those other kinds of things. But yeah, I mean, I think the important thing why this works, the songs are good, even when they're like purposely bad. I'll give you a perfect example on the classic song "Tonight We're Gonna Rock You Tonight." Where first of all, it goes pretty hard. It's just a good tune. But there's like the lead that Christopher Guest's character does, where it's just and it is maybe the dumbest thing that you've ever heard. But it works in the context of the song, right? So on the new Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends record, there's a song called Chekhov's Grift, that there is a guitar lead that is like that, where in the fact that when showing it to folks, I'd be like, no, you're playing it too skillfully. Think of it as like a 12-year-old boy who's very impressed with himself. because it goes into the ridiculousness of what's happening, and that too skillful of a guitar lead there would ruin it. It would just be distracting. And man, that's hard to do. That's hard to do for people that are just musicians, let alone gifted improvisers and actors and comedians who also know how to play music. Like, so respect for that.
Yeah,
as well.
And that's a good thing to mention. All of these people, they do sing and they do play the instruments there in the movie. So they do have that. And also in this kind of mockumentary, it seems like a lot of scenes. It's like kind of a series of scenes, and then cut to them playing music on stage. Series of scenes, then them. So it's a lot of that pattern throughout the movie that you see there. So you get hear a lot of them do sing. And the songs, like you mentioned, are pretty solid.
They're catchy. They're catchy in ways that you're like, working on a sex farm. Oh, whoa, I'm at the grocery store. I shouldn't be singing that, and that's one of, I feel personally that's one of the reasons why the movie is as cult popular as it is because that stuff resonates, and that's something that's going to make you want to rewatch it and be like, oh yeah, remember when they do Big Bottom? Yeah, that's hilarious, But I think also at the heart of it, it's the story between the two guitar players, right? And you have the classic thing, and I'm going to be very careful to not speak in gender terms on it, but the bringing your significant other on tour thing, at any level, das ist verboten. Unless you're a band that's a couple or something, right? Or there's like some other alternate arrangement, but that's never good. Like the girlfriend comes on tour. I suppose it could be boyfriend as well. No, bad. Everyone hates it. It's never been good. It's never been good. Unless they're a playing member, and everybody's on board with it. It's never ever a good situation. And so that's something that's universally relatable too, because especially when any musician who's been around, who has been playing in bands for a while, there's usually like some early band where somebody, hey, got great news, everybody. Joanne's coming with. Oh yeah, really? Who okayed that? So that's cool too. But that introduces the tension between the two guys. That these guys have been, they've played music together like their entire lives, and they've built a professional career out of it. They have this great, whether it's your genre of music or not, you can't deny that they vibe creatively very well together. They're better together than they are apart, so on and so on. And then the course of the movie, you have the tension builds, and Nigel leaves. And then you get that great scene that you played earlier where they're at the freaking Air Force station, right? And, he's like watching side stage, and then St. Evans is like, come on, come on stage. Just come on. And he comes on, he straps on his guitar, wireless, and he just starts ripping into like a solo, and then like the air traffic control radio signal interferes with it, so he starts getting like the air traffic control radio stuff through the guitar, and it's screwed. And it's so funny because there's so buildup, and this is the thing I'm talking about. There's so much emotional buildup. Like, yeah, that's awesome. Nigel's back playing with them. Even the crowd's finally stoked. It's like, oh, that's great. This is the tap that we want to see. But he's got a wireless unit, and it fritzes out, which is a thing that does happen, especially among some radio frequencies. So he gets like a little moment of like shredding, and like it's awesome, and then a classic tap moment where he's like, hey, what's going on? Where's that sound coming from? And it's so funny because this movie has so many of those moments, like when Derek Smalls gets caught in the freaking those mollusk shells that they get released from, that's amazing. There's when Stonehenge, they build it in inches instead of feet. So you have like a tiny Stonehenge that dwarves are dancing around. Little people, sorry, pardon me. Like those are things where just like, and then what's funny is within the commentary, which is on my mind because I just watched it a couple hours ago, is that they're like, oh, why are they showing all these parts? Why didn't they show the parts where that didn't happen? And that works on a different level too, because again, you have the characters interacting with this as if they were real events. They commit to the bit. All that works so well. But the fact of that, the reason why that's such a big laugh at the Air Force performance is because you really do have a stake of like, oh man, I hope they can work it out. Just because you're like, you're like, yeah, these guys are idiots, but like they're better together, and you want to see them like succeed on whatever way and capacity that they can, even if you have like a little bit of disengagement from it. And that heart is what carries it.
Yeah. And just do you think people can enjoy this? You think even if they're not big musical fans? I think you said before, because there are so many musical references in it. I mean, even with the girlfriend, I mean, a lot of people, that's like become like a verb, like you Yoko Ono the band. That's kind of been a thing there.
And whether you feel that that's accurate or fair to say or not, you're right. That is something that's a monocultural, somewhat misogynistic thing. And honestly, I got long thoughts about that. But does that get over? I think a lot of it does anyway. I think there are things that if you do play music, it hits even deeper because there are certain signifiers where you're just like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like, again, and that's one of the reasons why but these go to 11. Why that's one of the things everyone knows from this, because that works on both of those. When they have when they're talking about, well, we got a review of your record Shark Sandwich. It's just a 2-word review. Shit sandwich. And like, what? They can't print that. I mean, everybody can relate to that. That's hilarious because it's like just, if you ever have reviewed anything, if you can just come up with a short, succinct play on words and that's the review, that's like the best thing ever. And that's always going to be hilarious. It's always going to be funny. Again, I don't even need to think you need to be a fan of the music necessarily to appreciate that this is their built world. And that's why that works. I felt the same way about Walk Hard too. Like I felt like that's got, the songs are good. And if the songs are good, that's going to ease you along. But this is such a weird animal of a movie. Like that it's essentially like not a broad comedy, but it somehow has broad appeal. And it's harder to do now.
Yeah. And I
mean,
love
Pop Star. You just mentioned Pop Star, right? That was well known amongst us nerds. Right? But did that have the same, talk to your family about it or something? Probably not. Maybe. It depends on your family. I don't know. Maybe.
And I love how it does with the interviews. And my favorite thing when you have Rob Reiner just talking to him, and it captures the sometimes pretentiousness of musicians and artists sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Of like, I think it gets that leads to a lot of great humor. Like I like the lick my love pup scene.
He's just gorgeous. So, and what Josh is talking about, folks, if you haven't seen the movie, yeah. So Nigel, this Christopher Crest character is Nigel Tufnell. He's playing this really gorgeous piano composition. It's so beautiful. It's so kind of like classically infused. Like, wow, that's really a very strong composition. It's very adult sounding compared to this puerile, juvenile like rock music about thinly veiled sex analogies and whatnot. And then you get to the end of it, and Victor DeBerge is like, "Oh, what's that called?" And he goes, "Oh, lick my love pump."
Let's check out the scene right here.
It's pretty. Yeah, I like it. Just been fooling about with it for a few months now. Very delicate.
It's a bit of a departure from the kind of thing you normally play.
Yeah, well, it's part of a trilogy, really, a musical trilogy that I'm doing in D minor, which I always find is really the saddest of all keys, really. I don't know why, but it makes people weep instantly to play a... It's a horn part.
It's very pretty.
Yeah, just simple lines intertwining. Very much like I'm really influenced by Mozart and Bach, and it's sort of in between though. It's like a Mach piece, really.
What do you call this?
Well, this piece is called "Lick My Love Pump."
Great, no notes, amazing. And it kills because, again, like you mentioned, these are all very much like, oh well, it's a trilogy, and it's this musical modality, and this and that and the other thing. By the way, in the commentary, the St. Hubbins character is like, oh, did you ever finish that? Oh no, I'm still working on it. That's the other joke about like some pretentious thing that you're working on that like no one ever, it never gets actually done because and the idea behind it, from an artistic perspective, is because you're scared of committing to something that might fail, so on and so on. So that works on like 4 levels as a joke, right? But then it's also just it's a good delivery for like what is just an absurd ribald title as well, which is great. I mean, like all that works, and I get for my sensibilities anyway. Like if someone were to say Spinal Tap, oh that's stupid, I'd be like yes. Yes, it is. That's the point.
Do you think it's? Are you able to choose who's your favorite person, maybe of the cast, or like that stands out, maybe, or do you think it's all just pretty equally across the board?
I mean, Nigel's character is probably the most relatable, I think, because he's the one that kind of he at least has an artistic journey and an idea, and definitely seems to be like the most well-rounded out of all of them, which is not saying much, by the way. It's pretty hard not to love Derek Smalls, though, who's just and I can only say this with peace and love in my heart, almost the living embodiment of what people think bass players are, and often are. Which is just like, they're well-meaning. Sometimes they have silly mustaches. Yeah, there's an aspect of Derek Smalls that would like, wow, if there hadn't been a Derek Smalls, someone else would have had to make that character. But they're all good. That's the thing. Even Viv, who's like, look at that mustache, amazing. Even the keyboard player, who they canonically never turn the microphone on for, by the way. He's always singing, but they never have the microphone turned on for him, and he's always got silly hats on and whatnot. They're all kind of like lovable in their like weird irascible way, right? Like and there's something in them, even as they just make the most absurd art you've ever seen, are generally oblivious and terrible to each other. You kind of want to see them succeed. But then you also have situations where it's like Spinal Tap, Puppet Show and Spinal Tap, right? Where they get billed below the Puppet Show. By the way, that's something that very much in the world of bands, anytime there's like a absurd, a disrespectful billing, everybody, I trust that I say this with a certain degree of authority. Everybody's thinking of Puppet Show plus Spinal Tap. That's what they're thinking of, because it's like, oh, the idea of like, this is where we're at, huh? We're playing to 40 people during the day at like an amusement park in Stockton. Okay. By the way, I grew up in the city next to Stockton, so I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that Stockton that this happens in. So, I mean, I think one of the reasons why is all the characters work. Even the I guess we call her like the Yoko-fied Janine character, the June Chadwick role. I mean, even her character works because she wants the best for her dude, right? She wants her best for David St. Hubbins, and it puts her at odds with Nigel, for sure. And again, in this classic archetype of the outsider coming in and believing that they're hey, I made up these character designs, and it's like, what? Like someone's a lizard? Like what is that? Like someone else is like a alien? Like what? Like how would we do this? And then Derek Smalls is like, oh, it took us hours to put all that on. It's totally true. And it's like this, and then they're at basically like the corner table of a Denny's talking about this too, which is just brilliant. It's so great. But one of the reasons why is like, even like there aren't anybody that's like villains that love doing villainy. Everyone's kind of the hero of their own story. And gosh, that's one of the reasons why when you think about getting back to the Naked Gun, right? Whether we're talking about the Liam Neeson one or Leslie Nielsen, if you play it straight and like have the absurdity around you happening, that counts for so much more, and it hits differently. And I've come to realize that I have a serious problem with stuff that gets too self-aware, like cripplingly self-aware. I think that it can only engage on a very surface level. And so for my particular taste for comedy, I appreciate when people kind of go deep like that. And this is a perfect example of that. I mean, I don't even think there's any bad characters. Even the drummers are great, as for the little amount of time that they're around, like
I did like that one clip, the one scene there with the drummer where they're speaking to one of the recent ones, and he's in the bathtub and he's talking about all the other drummers that have died, and he says like, well, it kind of can't happen again, right?
Yeah. What are the odds? The next thing you know, boom.
This is a quick see. I'll play a little bit of it here.
Spinal Tap drummer in the past. Do you have any fears? When I did join, they did tell me that kind of took me aside and said, well, next time
it's like this. And it did kind of freak me out a bit, but it can't always happen.
Right.
To every can it?
Right.
I mean,
The law of
really,
averages
The law
says-
of averages
says you will survive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you gotta love him doing the thing where he stands on the drums, just eats it hard. Like that's such a quick. It's like it's a disposable gag in the middle of another gag, and it works. It works so well. And again, it's in those ways that I've seen people do that. You know, local band like tried to do some like antics and it just goes south. Like, and it's like, oh man. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're gonna wreck everything.
Some fun little quick trivia about the movie. So the movie is entered in the Library of Congress there.
Is it
which
really?
The National Film Registry there. Some movies do that for being culturally significant. So that movie is in there. Hey, let's go in there. Downtown Abbey. Let's go in there. Love Spinal
Oh,
Tap.
Abby, what's up?
Hey. Critical acclaimed there. This movie was as well. Box office wise, didn't really do too well. Didn't do crazy numbers. It had a budget of $2 million, made a box office of $5.8 million. So not crazy there. Some little trivia there. This originally, Rob Reiner.
I think it did most of its video rentals. I think is where it kind of really took off and achieved its cult status. Because I mean, I'll freely admit, dude, in 1984, I was like way busy being a child. I'm old and that old. So I mean, first, this was a classic VHS rental, right? And then then DVDs and whatnot. And I feel like every time there was like a home version that came around, it kind of built a new following because of that. So I'd be curious what the numbers are with that, because I think, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind it is indeed a cult classic at this point.
Yeah,
but we all know cult classics don't necessarily pay the bills.
And this happened in 2002. We got entered in the Library of Congress. 2002.
They entered the film registry then. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Well, and because so the DVD I have, it came out in 2001. I think that's when they finally did the DVD, the DVD release, and they had a commentary track that I talked about, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. And it kind of had like a new, either folks that didn't know it kind of found out about it, or remembered, whatever.
Yeah. Rob Reiner was also supposed to be a part of the band, but they said he didn't look good in some of the costumes, so he just ended up directing the movie. So I don't know if you knew that already or not.
They make a joke in the commentary that he tried to come on stage and play saxophone on one of the numbers, and they like didn't allow him on stage. So I think that's kind of a meta reference to that. I think that works better, that his character is just like the observer. Right? Because you need someone that's being when we think about it in terms of modern context, you're thinking about, the Marty DeBurgi character would be like the equivalent of Philomena Kunk or, Ali G or something along those lines, where they're sort of instigating the humor to an unwitting participant. In this case, you have like the very skilled improvisers, you're getting the setup to the improviser. And then they're, in some cases, going off the script. In some cases, just like coming up with crazy stuff on the fly. So it's interesting to talk about this because it's the antecedent to that. It's the antecedent towards like the real people reactions can somehow be funny in relation to the wacky, out of control interview character. In this case, I mean, he plays it pretty straight. It's just like a guy that's doing a documentary is what it feels like. Yeah. And I think it works. You need look at the Marx Brothers. What are the Marx Brothers without Margaret Dumont? Nothing. A bunch of psychopaths. I mean, like it doesn't work if you don't have a straight person. So the fact that you have Rob Reiner's character just being kind of this straight-laced guy making a documentary, great. It would be weaker if he was part of the band.
Some other people that pop up in it, some character actors, some character comedic actors there. Fred Willard there is a good bit there. You see Fran Drescher, who hosts like a party there.
Bobby Fleckman,
Bobby Fleckman there. So you see some other people that pop up. A solid cast there you got throughout the movie.
Well, and they come up in these like little, like Ed Begley Jr. is the drummer in the 60s iteration of Spinal Tap. John Stumpy Pepys. That's Ed Begley Jr.
Oh wow. Okay. I didn't.
I didn't even notice that like the third time I saw it. I was like, is that Ed Begley Jr. on drums? And it turns out he knows how to play drums. And yes, it is. Yeah.
Wow.
So there
Very
you
nice.
go. Yeah. I mean, there's like Dana Carvey's like one of the mimes. Billy Crystal's another one of the mimes. You know, it's Howard Hessman. People don't really know Howard Hessman these days, but you know, WKRP in Cincinnati. He plays that Terry Ladd character. It's great. Yeah, it's star-studded. Freaking Paul Schaefer, Artie Fufkin, the radio promotion guy. That's Paul Schaefer.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, a movie that also benefits you from rewatching it and then seeing all these kind of little things and references that you maybe missed before. I think it also has that going for it as well. I don't know if we're in for another. I think we talked about this when Forrest was on here discussing Naked Gun, but I don't know if we're in the sense of a parody kind of resurgence because you had Naked Gun, and then they're going to do another Scream movie. Spaceballs is going to be coming out, a sequel to that. So I think, I don't know if a mockumentary, we're going to see another kind of resurgence of that because there used to be a lot of mockumentary shows. People know like The Office and Parks and Rec and all those shows. Seem like that cooled down as of now. Like you don't see that as much on TV.
You do have The Paper, which is a direct link to The Office for sure. And I mean, a good example I would say would be the Weird Al documentary, where it was where it was basically tearing apart the idea of a biopic from a completely different way of just going like the most absurd way possible, just making a bunch of stuff up, right? You know, there's something like that, but yeah, I'm trying to think of like what would be like now, like what would be a Spinal Tap-esque mockumentary.
Yeah. Like, it seems like, you don't really see. I can't think of like a mockumentary film. I know a lot of shows, but I can't think of a recent one that's popping up in my head at the moment.
Popstar, you mentioned Popstar. I mentioned Mighty Wind, but I feel like that was like over 10 years ago, right? Oh God, that was 2003. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So there's all the Christopher Guest stuff, but like that's from a while ago.
Yeah, Popstar came out 2016 is when that came out.
Oh Jesus, really? Was that long ago? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, that's crazy because I guess as a film, it has kind of moved towards like streaming television and whatnot, right? Because you have. I mean, Weird's the most recent example that I can think of, and that was like 3 years ago, you know. And Direct to Roku. Nobody knew what to do with this. They put Direct to Roku. I was like, oh man, anybody gonna see this? Plenty of people saw it. It's great, but that's you just don't see a lot of them in film form anymore. I think that's very much moved towards. I mean, a great example is the Studio.
Oh, yeah.
Which is both spiritual and literal sequel to The Player. But, it's kind of just done as a show. There isn't really like there's a documentary crew filming this kind of standpoint aspect to it. So I think it still happens, but not nearly as much. And also, it is kind of a gamble as much as, again, every person in the band loves these characters. And people that like love the original movie love those characters, but the big thing is going to be like, is it going to be any good? You know what I mean? And I hate to phrase it that way, but when something's has achieved a level of notoriety and belovedness,
yeah,
there's a lot of chance for letdown, right? And that's something where I try to be careful about how I say it, but for those of us that were around when the Star Wars prequels came out, heartbreaking. If you didn't grow up with them, I mean, first of all, there never will be another monocultural moment like that ever again. Never will happen. And the build-up for it was insane, and then what we got versus what was promised were very different things. And so there's a lot of kind of post-traumatic stress disorder from that. Or those Indiana Jones, dude, if they would have stopped at Last Crusade, great. Those three movies are badass, but I don't like Crystal Skull at all, even a little bit. And the last one was like, whatever, fine, deeply inessential. Like not important to that it existed, in my opinion. But just like legacy sequels are hard because it's hard to get it right because you don't want to just redo the same thing. But how do you keep the magic and what made the original thing good and move it forward? And can you? I mean, look at Beetlejuice 2, right? Divisive.
Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, like I said, Blade Runner, they got that right, so that was a legacy sequel. Top Gun
And kind of
Maverick,
went somewhere different too, you know. So it was kind of like, oh, this is kind of continuation, but it's going somewhere different. Maverick, yeah, I mean I feel like Top Gun Maverick is more just a straightforward action movie.
Yeah,
but not in a bad way. I mean, I didn't think they were going to bring the homoerotic overtones when Val Kilmer was on his way out. Yeah.
So, what will be your final thoughts rating for This Is Spinal Tap? You think it's the greatest comedy ever?
Oh, it's up there. Yeah, for me, it's 5-star out of 5. I mean, it's hard to get much better. I have this in my top 100. Where? I couldn't tell you. I never look at the list, but it is in my top 100 movies of all time, and probably somewhere in the top 20, frankly. So it's I think it's fantastic. I do kind of get it if like not all of it vibes with people sometimes, just because it's one of the greatest comedies of all time if you're a musician. And I think it's up there if you're not. And I kind of stand by that assessment because there are certain things that just you feel seen in a way that like you can't in any other form of popular media as a musician with Spinal Tap, even though it's in absurd, irreverent ways. And there's something to be said for that. You know, like I'm a huge fan of something that sort of displays the idiosyncrasies and neuroses of niche interest. I mean, see Christopher Guest Best in Show, right? For the whole like dog show kind of thing. Another one of my favorites of all time. You know, similar principle that you don't need to be into showing dogs for awards to laugh at that. It's hilarious. It's hilarious if you didn't, right? But yeah, it's one of my favorites, and I hope that the sequel is good. But as long as it isn't just embarrassingly bad, it'll probably be fine. Nothing's going to be able to tarnish Spinal Tap for me. There's no way. I think everyone will just kind of pretend it didn't happen if it's not good.
Okay. You're not one of those people that when they see a bad Star Wars movie, they go, "It ruined my childhood" or anything like that.
No, come on. I mean, even with man, I hated those prequels. Hated. But it doesn't mean I hate Star Wars. I just was like, all right, these aren't for me. You know, fine, whatever. I loved Rogue One. Rogue One was great. I thought Rogue One was awesome. You know, and there's people that don't like Rogue One. They love the prequels. Okay, that's insanity to me, but it's okay to be into different things. Nothing should be able to ruin. I mean, I feel like Lucas tried by like CGIing in all that crazy. Like, what are you doing? Keep him away from it. Stop taking with it. It was done. Like all of those changes were for the worse, if you ask me. And those are recent in mind because we just did all the Star Wars, the original trilogy and Rogue One, so they're all very much in mind. Where it's like, God, all of these changes are bad. Like the best one just doesn't do any harm. And there's no way to view the original movies, and that comes back to Apocalypse Now. It's the same sort of thing. Oh, we've seen Apocalypse Now. Which version? He's done like 4 of them. And I don't know. I mean, to a certain degree, it's his art, fine. But I think once it's released, it belongs to everybody. So Spinal Tap belongs to everybody, and that there's nothing that can be done that will take that away from people that love it, myself inclusive.
So I think for
5
you,
out of 5.
yeah, this is cinema. This is cinema.
Absolutely, you better believe it, baby.
Oh yeah, I'm probably right there with you. I think this is a strong mockumentary comedy. There works on all levels. Even if you don't get the references, I think you'll just laugh at the absurdity of these people and this band. Strong comedic force here. I mean, with Christopher Guest, with Michael McKinnon, with Harry Shears, which both of those guys, Harry Shears and Michael McKinnon, I think probably met each other on SNL. I think that's their connection there. SNL.
They were both on SNL. Yeah, that was not for long. They were on that weird. There was like a weird season where they like you look at the cast, you're like, that's amazing, and you're like, yeah, it didn't really work though.
Robert Downey Jr. and all
Robert Downey Jr. That's right. Yeah, it was like, hey, let's get like super gifted sketch artists and improvisers, and then a couple just stars.
Yeah,
it was like what? But yeah, and yeah, it's I think it works too because it is sort of like the Avengers of comedy to a certain degree, and everyone is very aligned, and they're musically inclined, and they're just good enough. You know, they're just good enough that like you believe that this is a band that maybe they're punching above their weight class half the time, you know, and that's okay. We can laugh at them and with them at the same time, and that's wonderful. So I think that's rare to see because I don't like a lot of comedy that's punching down. You know what I mean? And I feel like as preposterous and ridiculous as these dudes are, and they are both preposterous and ridiculous, there's a healthy sense of the absurd, and you never feel like it's cruel.
Yeah, that sense. Yeah, good. Even Naked Gun I was surprised that Naked Gun was even PG-13. I was like, oh wow, it is PG-13. Like it doesn't have to be vulgar. It doesn't have to be. It's like it's great. Hey, you can still do great comedy. That PG-13.
They did some edgy stuff too, and it was just like, oh okay, right on, respect. You know, all the infrared stuff. I mean, hilarious. That was I funniest infrared sequence I think I've seen in any movie ever. You know, great.
So 2 strong This Is Cinemas for This Is Spinal Tap. I'm eager to hear what you think about the sequel. So it's coming out this week.
Yeah, I'll let you know, man. I'm crossing fingers.
Yeah. Where can people find you? What you got going on? What you got coming up next? All that good stuff.
Sure. So Movie Night Extravaganza is weekly, Tuesdays, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific. If you're watching the show or listening to the show or however you're engaging with the show, you would probably like that show as well, of which Josh has been a guest many times over. We are back this week after a week-long break covering Star Wars, new season, Francis Ha with Marta Jovovich, a.k.a. Martin McFly. Very excited for that. Then we're going to be doing Amadeus. Talk about biopics. Looking forward to that. And then the crazy Elios Carax Sparks collaboration, Annette, which is an insane movie that is insane. And then we launch into a month of witches, movies about witches.
Yeah,
so
October
that should be
coming
very, very exciting for October. That's right. So exciting to be back for that. You can find me, PlatoniCreversal.com, PlatoniCreversal, YouTube, all the podcast things. My very long-running podcast of 11 plus years, usually one-on-one music interview show. Maybe folks you know, maybe folks you don't, but looking to enlighten and entertain, both is there. It has a dedicated following. You're always welcome to check that out. There's been around a long time. Might even be some people that you know on there. Maybe not. Who knows? But that's Platonic Reversal. That's my show. That's Thursdays, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific. You can subscribe to all the normal things that you subscribe on. It's podcasted for free always. Patreon.com/Platonic Reversal, $1 a month for that. Of course, my band, because talking Spinal Tap, gotta talk bands. Co-Neutron, The Secret Friends, which is what my background is. My long-running band that has a new record called The Way of the Neutron that is out this year. We are out on tour next month for a week and a half, heading out to Seattle for Rat City Recon, which is a great all-day festival at a huge roller rink. The bands play in the middle of the roller rink and everyone kind of skates around you. It's insane. It's so good. It's such a good time. You can see us there. We have another tour of the South in November, hitting... let's see. I can probably remember all the tour days if you think about it. So October... Chicago, Minneapolis, Lincoln, Denver, Salt Lake City, Boise, Eugene, Portland, Seattle. November, it's going to be Kansas City, Jackson, Atlanta, New Orleans, Austin, Denton, Wichita, Santa Fe, Phoenix. And then we have a really cool show in LA that hasn't been announced yet for my birthday with Mike Watt. That's going to be fantastic. The Great Minutemen, et cetera, et cetera. NeutronFriends.com, NeutronFriends.bandcamp.com. If you're in any of those cities, come see us. It happens now and again that folks come out that know me from other things. I always glad to talk movies with any of y'all. And yeah, where are you based out, Josh? You told me like 3 times. I know we're in the same time zone, but like what general area? You don't need to give me the address or anything.
Oh, I'm in Texas. Yeah.
You're Texas. We're in Texas. Like
I'm in
what rep?
Houston.
Okay, cool. Close. We're not this time, but we're playing 2 Texas states. I know Houston isn't near any of them. Austin and Denton, nah.
I mean, Austin's not that far from me.
Austin's not terrible, but yeah, it is like a Monday or something like along those lines. I can't remember, but yeah, but we got a bunch of cool stuff coming up for 2026 as well. But yeah, for most fans of your show, I would say Movie Extravaganza is the thing. Follow me on Letterboxd at Conan Neutron. I'm very active on there. It's the one social media network I like. You can follow me on all the other things, usually at Conan Neutron. Most of it's going to be band stuff. I do have a film log that's increasingly not cross-posted as much as it used to be. Who Watches the Watch List, that is an Instagram account as well, but that's become more of a Movie Extravaganza promo dumping ground lately. So I've been threatening to reformat on that and kind of doing more short-form videos. Oh, thanks, Josh. Appreciate that. Yeah. So find me in all those places, and yeah, thanks for having me. I love Spinal Tap. I'm overjoyed to talk about it. You know, I think it's a far more interesting movie than sometimes people give it credit for. Super cautiously optimistic for the sequel.
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe it's surprising.
Maybe it's gonna kill. You know, how great would that be? 28 years later, I had expectations solidly in the sub basement on that one. I really liked it. It was very different than I thought it was gonna be, but it was good. You know.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, I had the retro review for either this or Malcolm X. I decided, well, I think maybe this would be more your thing. Maybe.
I mean, Malcolm X is great, but I don't know what I'm gonna say about it. It's gonna be anything. I wouldn't say I'm a subject matter expert, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's it. It's one of my favorite Spike Lee movies. I mean, it's an interesting. I actually think Inside Man is one of his most underrated, personally.
Yeah. I agree with that. A lot of people forget about Inside. I love Inside Man.
People forget. I saw it in the theater. I was like, God, this kills. Like, why did no one ever talk about this?
Clive Owen, Denzel Washington, really good.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to. Even when Denzel's in something that's not good, like I did not care for Gladiator 2, but Denzel was great. It was like, well, he's great, but the rest of this, not for me.
That's it.
Deeply inessential. Who needed this? Who needed that movie? I mean, I know you already did a review on this. I don't want to get into it, but like, I don't know who that was for.
Well, speaking about bad legacy sequels, that was one of them. I guess
that was definitely one of them. Where it's like, I don't know why this exists. This does not need to exist.
Yeah.
Anyway. And I was rooting for my boy Paul Mescal, man. I was rooting for him. I dig that guy a lot. He sucked in that movie. Sorry. Peace and love. He's young. He'll shake it off. But
yeah, he's got another movie coming out.
He looked great. I mean, my man was jacked, but no, he was not good in that movie.
Yeah, he's going to be playing Shakespeare, right?
Sure. Okay. Great.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I think I think he's going to be playing Shakespeare. In the movie.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, that sounds reasonable. You know, I like him a lot. He's been on my radar ever since I saw After Sun, which is great. And I think a lot of that guy, and that's one of the reasons why I was so bummed out. I mean, just in general, Gladiator 2 bummed me out. But like,
isn't he also going to be a Beatle, right? He's going to be a Beatle, isn't he?
Probably, yeah. I mean, whatever. They got Jeremy Allen White being Springsteen. Are they doing another Beatles biopic? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, it's Sam Mendes. He's going to do the 4 separate Beatles band members solo movies, and he's going to join it all together in one movie.
Oh my God,
he's going to the Avengers Infinity War.
It's going to be the Beatles cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So that's something different. A 4-part biopic.
The Beatles, Paul McCartney. Wow. Okay. All right.
Kind of.
So it's Paul Mescal's Paul. Harris Dickinson is John Lennon. Okay. Joseph Quinn is George Harrison. He's the one. He's a Human Torch in Fantastic Four, right? The new one. And
Barry Keoghan.
Yeah, Barry Keoghan. Oh, he's Ringo.
Yeah.
Oh, he's awesome, man. That guy's a badass. That guy's no joke. Like, I first saw him in Banshees of Inisherin, but I've seen him in like a ton of things now, and he's like, I mean, Ringo's pretty normal for him.
Yeah. So
I like all those guys. Actually, I got no opinion on Joseph Quinn. Frankly, I think he's fine.
Did you like him in Gladiator?
It's fine. It was fine. It's fine. I mean, like, I forgot he was in it until you just said he was the Emperor, right?
Yeah, he's one of
Yeah.
the twin emperors.
Yeah,
one of
that's
them.
fine. Whatever. I mean, I'm going to blame that on the source material. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things where it's like, I'm always forever rooting for Anna de Armas, and it just seems to have picked some of the worst projects I've ever seen. The Ballerina was great. It was awesome. I was like, Knives Out was great.
Yeah.
I know, and it's like, what more do you fools want, dude? Like, really? Like, this movie bombed? That was awesome, I thought, but whatever. All right. There's a flamethrower battle in that film. That's not. We don't care about that. Okay.
Yeah.
That was my finger not on the pulse. Anyway.
I'm gonna be out of here.
Cool.
I don't know if you have somebody on that you know it's on Twitch also that I could raid maybe. I don't know if you have anybody.
That's going right now. I don't know what happens on Mondays. No, not really. Mondays, I'm like meditating in my garden, awaiting my next task. No idea. Sorry, man.
But no problem. I got somebody right here. But thank you again to Conan. Thank you for much.
Yeah.
For
Thanks
your
for having me.
I'm
Always a
gonna go
pleasure.
over, raid somebody. I'm gonna be back this Wednesday. I'm gonna be doing Red Sonja. I'm doing a review of that with Ashley Lynch, fellow critic. Friday,
There's a new one, or are you talking about the one from the 80s?
No, there's a new one out. It only released in theater for one day and made like $50,000 or something, and then they dumped it on streaming. So that's it. So
wow,
it's pretty bad. I heard it's actually pretty awful. But yeah, so do that. The Friday, doing a bunch of reviews. I got Conjuring: The Last Rites, Lurker, Splitsville, Long Walk. Doing reviews for those.
Oh, Long Walk's coming out. That's one of my favorite books, so I'm pretty excited for that. I think that'll be interesting. That's the fella from Strange Darling, right? J.T. Molnar did that.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe he's doing
And
that.
I've heard Splitsville's good too. People are saying Splitsville's good.
It's pretty good. And then I got to see that movie Threesome that's in theaters. I got to go see that. So yeah,
I acknowledge that exists as well.
Yeah. But yeah, it seems like they do.
Do people know that there's online pornography or no? They don't know that.
Hey, people like to see it in movies too, man.
Sure.
Big screen. There, but just don't end up like Pee Wee Herman there. But
I know,
yeah.
poor Paul Rubens.
Yeah.
Man got done dirty. Just
well,
trying to stroke it in a public theater in peace, not bother anyone. It was everyone else was doing it too. They just weren't famous.
Yeah. At least it didn't ruin. I mean, when he died, people were like, well, he was an awesome comedian and all that stuff. So people kind of forgot about it. People were like, oh, let's not bring that up. So yeah, that was okay. I mean, people done a lot worse. So
if he hadn't been such a beloved children's icon, I think it probably would have had less salience. But also, it is tough to think about that. Oh yeah, if a couple years later, he would just be able to go on the internet for that. Would have to go to like a theater, like a psychopath, like what all people in the 70s were doing.
Like,
can you imagine?
Travis Bickle. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, I'm good, man. Like, I'm good. I'm no November. I'm good. I ain't going to a theater like that. Anyway,
Right.
on that note, somehow, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right, take care, and everybody, stay tuned.